Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dears, today I am going to share with you some very important tips about how you are going to improve your English. You know, human beings are always very selfish. They don't put efforts in something as long as they do not know its benefits. English language and its learning has become our compulsion in today's competitive era. It's the era of competition, and as our teachers used to say that if you don't know English, you are like dependent. If you do not know English, it's like you have legs but you cannot walk. It's like you have hands but you cannot do anything. You have eyes but you cannot see anything. English is the language of those people who are ruling over the world. Qaid-e-Azam, who was the founder of Pakistan, was a very good speaker of this language. There are many people in our society who discourages us whenever, as it is said in English, that cross the bridge when you come to it. I had crossed all these bridges. Initially, when I was in class 8, I had a thirst for knowledge, for English language. I had a craze for English language. I always wanted to learn English. And during that time, there were many people who were trying to discourage me by saying, "Are you an Englishman?" and different things. And I told you earlier that there are people in our society who neither themselves can do anything, nor they let others do anything. So, the first tip for doing anything, you have to ignore all the negative criticism of the people. And now I am coming back to the topic that how you are going to improve your English. In order to improve your English, first of all, you have to throw off your shyness.
Yes, sir.
This means that most of the students, they do not try to speak English. They are frightened, they are afraid of speaking English because they think that people would make fun of me. If I make a mistake, they would laugh at me. And that is the thing that they cannot. But I remember that every high flight begins from the ground. An expert was once a beginner. A person who is expert today in something, one day he was a beginner. And also you should remember that you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. You have to take the little step every day. The first step is that you have to throw off your shyness. You don't have to be shy. Practice with your friends, practice in your society, practice here in the school along with your fellows. When you practice, you learn something. Definitely, I am not saying that at the very beginning, at the very start, you would be able to speak fluently. But with the passage of time, you will tighten your grip on this language as you practice it. The first step is you have to throw off your shyness. Understand, madam?
Yes, sir.
The second thing is self-confidence. You have to be self-confident. Self-confidence will lead you from road to rocking chair. When you are self-confident, whatever you do, if you think that whatever I am going to do, I am capable of doing that, you will definitely do that. But if you have fear of failure in your mind, you are definitely going to get failed there. So, you should have self-confidence. Now, in English language, how are you going to build your self-confidence? In order to build your self-confidence, you have to practice English with those people who are unable to point out your mistakes. This is the first thing. How? If you speak English in front of those people who are very good at English and you are a beginner, so if you speak English, he will definitely try to point you out, and that will really, that will indirectly discourage you from practicing. In order to build your self-confidence, you should speak English with those people who are unable to point you out. Like you can practice English at home with your mother, who hadn't studied, who is not able to get it, with your sister, with your younger brother. This way, when you speak English, they are unable to point out your mistake, this will give you self-confidence. This will build your self-confidence. Now, most of the students, most of the people say that though every day we hear a new word, but we are unable to remember that word. So the next step is practice. Practice. Suppose today you heard a word here from your teacher while he was delivering his lecture, or you heard one of your friends speaking English together, and you heard a word here. Now, in order to keep it in your mind for the rest of your life, you have to look for a suitable occasion where you can use that word. Yes, this is my experience, that whenever you hear a new word and you practice it with someone, you use that word. Whenever you're talking with your friends in your class or somewhere in your village, you use that word. Look for a suitable occasion, use that word. Believe me, you're gonna get gray hair, but you will always have that word in your mind. It is never going to get out of your mind. But the fourth thing is relevancy. The fourth thing is relevancy. Relevancy means that you have to be relevant. The definition of any language is that it is a word of sound, gestures, which is infinitely extendable. It is said that after every 2 hours, a new word is added to an English dictionary. So, even if we being the native speaker are unable to learn the whole language, one cannot learn a whole language. Suppose, this is a great example that I am giving you, that we being the native speaker of Pashto language, there are many words that we find strange whenever we hear it. If you take a book of Rahman Baba, who is a Pashto poet, study his poetry, and you will see many words that will be new for you. You won't be able to grasp their mind. That is just because you would have never heard that word before. Relevancy is very much important, beta. You have to be relevant, because one can never acquire, one can never learn a whole language. By this, I mean that everyone has a dream job, something which he wants to become in future. If you want to become a doctor, you don't have to learn the vocabulary which is used by an engineer. And if you want to become an engineer, you don't need to learn the vocabulary which is used by a doctor. Yes, sir. You have to be relevant. I'm a boy. I don't need to learn the vocabulary about all the makeup related things, because they are the things used by girls. I have no relation with them. I'm a boy, the makeup things are all used by the girls. So I have nothing to do with that. I have no cause for learning that vocabulary. You have to be relevant. Whenever you become relevant, you have a straight path in front of you, and then you follow that path. So the most important thing is relevancy. Suppose that your brother is a very good speaker of Urdu language. That doesn't mean that you take an Urdu dictionary and turn to page number 90 or whatever, and ask your brother that tell me the meaning of that particular word in this dictionary. He won't be able, because he would have never passed that word. As I told you, a language is infinitely extendable. One can never learn the whole language. The fifth point is learning new words. Now the question arises that how are you going to learn new words every day? Then, in order to learn new words every day, English is a kind of subject where the more you study, the more you learn. You have to become a studious person. You have to study the English newspapers, English books, the story books. Whenever you see new words there, then search them in the dictionary and look for the correct pronunciation as well as its correct usage, that when you can use this word. When you learn those words, then look for the suitable occasion where you can use those words, and once you use them, you will always remember those words in your mind. At the end of this lecture, I am going to ask you some related question what I have told you during this lecture. So my first question is from Ibrahim. Ibrahim, what is the point that you have noted during this lecture? Tell me at least one point.
Noting the new word in a notebook.
Abdullah, what have you noted during this lecture?
Looking for the correct pronunciation of the words.
Very good. Now, my third question is from Imam. Imam, how are we going to build our confidence? What is going to help us to build our confidence?
Speaking English with those people who cannot point out our mistakes.
Very good. I hope this was fruitful for you. I hope that you guys will start practicing.